Greetings towards my Century Unit Galaxy, it's the Century Man here, so back again with another episode of the MCU Movie Review Series. So today I'm reviewing the 8th movie of Phase 3 of the MCU, that is Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie was released in the summer of 2018. It was released in July in America, but it was released in the UK a month later in August. I don't know why they did that. I've done my research. The reason why they rescheduled the UK date release for Ant-Man and the Wasp because they don't want to compete with the World Cup. It's kind of like whatever because in July, because the World Cup ends in July, yeah, it gets to that quarterfinal, semi-final, and even the final portion of the tournament. That could be the reason they don't want to compete with that. Anyway, so it was August. Yeah. This movie took place a few months after Infinity War, one of the best movies of the MCU to this day. Yeah, it's debatable between that movie and Endgames. I don't want to get into it. Check my review of Infinity War. You know, I say Infinity War is the #1 best movie of the MCU. For me. Anyway, so back to this movie. So, yeah, speaking of Infinity War, this movie's, they kind of ignore the events of Infinity War. This movie took place after Civil War, the third Captain America movie. I'm glad they, I think people really were disappointed about this movie because they want to see a follow-up to Infinity War because, the events of Infinity War, in the end, you had Thanos have his last laugh, his victory dance after he's basically killed a lot of living billions around the galaxy with the blip. And I think people were a bit disappointed about, the follow-up movie. For me, I didn't really saw this movie at the time in cinemas. I saw it a year later on TV. I think it was before or even after I saw Endgame. And I checked it up. For me, I was kind of like, not to me, but I saw it a second time on the Disney Plus app. And this was a bit... this is the weakest movie of 2018 for the MCU because the best movie of the MCU of that year, that was Infinity War. The second best has to be Black Panther. Yeah, I think this is the weakest, but I think it was an enjoyable movie. I think Ant-Man and the sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, they were just basically just standard, basic superhero movies. Yeah, it's a heist movie as well, but it's just like nothing special. Wasn't like blow me away, but wasn't terrible. We're not gonna get a terrible MCU movie, period. These MCU movies that turn out to be good, great, or even amazing movies. This is more into like a decent movie, a mid-card movie. I heard that like the box office money of not just the first Ant-Man movie, but this movie were low. It's like, it reminds me like, I do a lot of wrestling terms in my Marvel videos, reviewing a Marvel TV show on the Disney Plus app and also doing these previous MCU movie reviews, in all three stages. I use a lot of wrestling terms. It reminds me like watching a good pay-per-view, whether it's in WWE or AEW or Impact Wrestling. They had a good pay-per-view and you have to wait until the following week for what's going on, the aftermath to the pay-per-view. Whether it's the next night on Raw or the next night on Nitro or the following week on Impact Wrestling or Dynamite. But yeah, people were a little bit disappointed. But for me, I'm trying to dissect this movie. Trying to call it down the middle. I'm glad they never, for the whole bulk of this movie, don't like bring a lot the events of Infinity War. This movie took place before Thanos invades. It took place at the before Infinity War. It, like I said, it took place after Civil War, and well, let's get to the post-credit first. So in the post-credit scene, you got like Scott in the quantum realm. And by the way, the motive of this movie is about Hank and Hope finding their mother, wife and mother, Janet, because she was, stuck in the quantum realm for the last 30 years. The mother slash wife, that is Janet Van Dyne, if that's her name. Played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, they brought up like, the probably, her mother was, sacrificed herself in the first movie, like, really disarmed the Russian missile. I don't think it was a Russian missile, but like a rocket missile. She was not dead. She was in the quantum realm, and in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man 1, that you introduce Hope going to be the Wasp, and then the goal in this movie, Hank and Hope are trying to find their mother in the quantum realm. Not Hank's mother, but Hank's wife and Hope's mother. You know what I'm trying to say. And in the post-credit scene in this movie, Scott's in the quantum realm in the truck, and also they bring up like time vortex. Get to that a little bit shortly. Yeah, Scott was trapped in the quantum realm. Hank, Hope, and Janet got blipped by Thanos. That's probably playing the building the foundation of Endgames. I'll get to that movie. We haven't got long, this MCU movie review series. I've got this movie, the next movie is Captain Marvel, then Endgames, and then, Far From Home. Anyway, yeah, they got blipped, and you won't see them again until, Endgame, and also the third movie I'll talk about later on in this review. Anyway, and Scott was trapped in the quantum realm for the next 5 years, I'll talk about that if I review Endgame, so... Anyway, I'm glad they ignored the events of Infinity War, and this is the aftermath from Civil War, because Civil War took place in 2016, Infinity War in 2018. Yeah, the MCU kind of muddled up the timeline, because the great example, Homecoming, I don't want to get into it. Go and check out my review of Homecoming. Anyway, this is like a fun movie to watch. We introduced like new characters. We got the original characters from the first Ant-Man movie. That is Paul Rudd as Scott Lang Ant-Man. Evelyn Lilly as Hope Van Dyne. We got Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. I think we got Bobby Cannavale as Paxton. Paxton was like a non-benefactor in this movie. He was kind of like Scott's friend. It's kind of like I don't know if it was a love triangle thing. He doesn't like Scott, who's a criminal, but after the events of Ant-Man 1, saving, Cassie, they're buddy, and the hugging. I don't know. It's a bit weird, I don't think Paxton got blipped. Anyway, let's see. I think they changed the character for Cassie. She played by I can't remember her name, but I think they changed the actress to play Cassie. Not just in the first movie, but in the second movie, and then Endgames, and then in the next movie. We'll get to that, like I said in the later on in this review. They introduced new characters of the film. We got Randall Park as James Woo. Because I covered, early this year, I covered WandaVision. He was in it. I kind of like his character, in the first and second act in the movie, I find him more of a dick, but he's kind of he's just a suit and tie doing his job, because after the events of Civil War, because basically, Scott was, instead of, pointing, in the beginning scenes, you have Scott's, back in jail, trying to rehash from the first movie. No, he's spending time with Cassie. He's got tagged after he helped Cap, the airport battle in Germany in Civil War. Instead, Scott's facing repercussions. I think they did the right thing. Instead of Scott doing his own thing, steal, and end up not having consequences, repercussions. But yeah, he had him with the tag, and introduced Wu, who's working with the FBI. And then this is a fun trivia for Randall Park. He was in this movie. He was in WandaVision years later in 2021. This is this year in our current timeline. But he's put in not just one universe. He's put in the second universe. He's not just part of he didn't not just appeared in the MCU. He's appeared in the DCEU, the DC extended universe. He's appeared in the post credit scene of Aquaman. Never knew that. And then I watched a clip of Aquaman. Yeah, he was kind of like a debater talking about if Atlantis is real, and then he's also really testing out and trying to fix Black Manta's like equipment. And also, and another character, another person who's also appeared in both the MCU and the DCEU. Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster, and also he also appeared in the DCEU as Perry White. Perry White is Superman's boss, in Man of Steel, and also Dawn of Justice. He plays Bill Foster, who's kind of like helping Ghost. Ghost is also played is Eva, played by Hannah John Carmen. The motive, the villains. I'll get to the villains. Before we get to the new characters. So we got like Wu, we got Bill Foster, Eva. I'm gonna call her Ghost. It's getting fucking confusing. And also we got Sonny Birch, played by Walton Goggins. Those names. He's that's the problem with the movie. There is lack of villains in this movie, because in the first movie you got Darren Cross, played by Corey Stoll. He was the villain in the first movie, but in the second movie the villains were non-existent. You got like Birch, going after, the motive for Birch and the FBI is, the fucking laboratory, trying to find, Janet from the quantum realm, get her out of the quantum realm. And had the car chasing scene in this movie. That was good, Anyway, let's talk about Ghost in this movie. Ghost, I thought she was kind of like the villain, beating down Hope, and also beat down Scott in the movie. But they did like tell the backstory of the character pretty damn well in this movie. Like her pet, his father. I don't know. He's working with Shield, and she got blasted in the experiment gone wrong. I think they're trying to get into the quantum realm, and then her daughter her parents got killed. She disappeared, and got raised by Foster, and then got raised by Shield. And Shield basically they really showcased Shield being shady in this movie. I don't think that was Hydra, because if you watch my review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because Shield's working with Hydra. I don't know, it was Hydra or basically Shield being a dick to Ghost, because she kind of worked with Shield, and they kind of used her and tricked her like they're gonna cure her, but unfortunately they kind of stabbed her in the back, so she was never like the main villain. It's not like she actually do something very bad in this movie, but she's kind of like pissed off, suffering, she's about to disappear. She did okay. And also, I don't want to talk about Michelle Pfeiffer's character. She appeared a little bit. People say the pacing was wrong, but it was okay. I don't really give a shit about pacing, but it was okay for what it is. She was there for a little bit. Like Hank, rescue her from the quantum realms, because there's one scene like Hank is suffering. There's clips like he's at his home. And Hope says, "Why do you not save her dad?" And Scott's appeared, "Why, you lost Hank. You got the message, Hank." That was Bill Foster, and he had this mysterious person wearing white. I thought that was Ghost, but instead it was Janet. Touching on his mind, opening his mind a little bit. I don't know what the hell. I think it's playing the I think it. I don't know. It's the force of the powers of the quantum realm. She did it with Ghost. She touched Ghost's head, and then all of a sudden she's, physical. She's not like disappearing. And also, then she's not dead. Her and Foster, they're not dead. They basically like stick together. I don't think, I don't think we're not gonna see them ever again. I don't know, but yeah, I think they're not really established characters of the movie. Both Foster and Ghost, and also speaking of you know, what's his name? Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. And also, he had this funny scene in the university between Scott and Foster. I almost forgot his name. Also talk about and also Scott became giant in this movie because he became a giant man in Civil War, but in this movie he was the giant. Going after Birch. He stole the lab. He's into the yeah, he's into he's in the cruise. Not the cruise, but in the ship. He managed to went into the waters, grabbed the lab, and kind of flicked him down on his ass. And then he's kind of woozy, think his lack of oxygen. He falls into the sea. And also they kind of compare sizes in the universal scene in the movie between Foster and Scott. To tell how I think Scott brings out he was 65 feet tall. And because Foster tell him go on, I'm curious. He's 65 feet. They kind of praised. This is before he working with ghosts. Like I said, they're not proper villains. Gargans was, I think Birch was a bit misused. Gargans not God. What can I say? Gargans Ghost he was suffering, and Foster's helping Ghost. So anyway, let's talk about Michael Pena. As Louise, fucking like that character. Like in not just in the first movie, but in the second movie. I like the stuff with the truth seeing part. They're going after Hank and Scott and Hope, and then you got you got Birch and his cronies. You got I think you got this. I don't say he's Asian. I think it's this Asian bloke called Uzman. Got the syringe, and then Louis says, "Oh, that's Trusim," and then he said, "That's not Trusim. It's a nonsense on TV." And also he jabbed it on Louise. Sorry, I'll call him a girl. He jabbed it in Louise's arm because it's. I think Birch says it's concoction. It makes you suggestive. Was it suggestive and high responsive, and And yeah, Louis says, "Oh, that's not truth sim. I kind of lie. That is truth. I kind of lie. I kind of fear it a bit. That is truth sim. I kind of like that." And also, they did it onto the baddies. The police arrest them. And also, the return of Dave and Kurt. We'll get to those characters shortly. And also, they did the Louis's storytelling. He only did it a little bit. I kind of funny. He had talking about how him and Scott met. He had Louis with fucking. I know it's a wig, Michael Pena wearing a wig, and then you kind of speculate and suggest that Hope and Scott kind of make love, and then they bring up he went to Germany. They end up making out, boyfriend girlfriend, and they're broken up, and I think Louis stole their desserts about raspberry was it filling? I don't know, it's donuts or what kind of pastry. I like the first storytelling from the first movie, but it's not the last time we see Michael Pena, in the MCU. I hope he's playing in the next movie. I like his storytelling. I like he's funny. And then also they did the reference Hot Wheels. The toy cars in this movie, and Louise is driving this purple car with the red flames. That was good. Yeah. Yeah, the motive in this movie, because in the first movie, the crooks, the robbers, in the second movie, in this movie I'm talking about, I think they're running a security door firm. I don't know what they're gonna do in the third movie. I don't know, yeah, he didn't got blipped, same as Darcy. You don't mention Darcy got blipped because we haven't saw these characters for years. Yeah, Kurt is played by, I'm gonna butcher this dude's name, David, Das Makakalian. I don't really get it, so, yeah, anyway, let's about Hope. Yeah, and also one funny point in this movie, you had Scott's, suit, his belt was struggling, it's keeps like changing size. You know, there was the car chasing scene, like he's shrinking and growing. There's one funny part. He's trying to slow down the truck, and people are in the cafes drinking their drinks, and you see Scott's like slowing down the truck and grunting. I just kind of laugh. See, people are just like in the cafe, not noticing. They're just like sitting down in the cafe, enjoying their drinks, and meanwhile Scott outside is slowing down the truck with no one. You know, still he was fighting. He's fighting like Butch and Ghost. You know, I kind of laughed. You know, there were some funny moments in this movie. I kind of like. Yeah, see, I'm going to blank here. So, yeah, it's all about Hope's character, the Wasp. Yeah, we saw, yeah, in the post-credit scene, you had Hank introducing, Hope, the suit, as, she became the Wasp. I think they did save the right moment to have, I'm glad they didn't use, her portraying the Wasp in the first movie. They save it to this movie. She kind of, you can call it, she kind of stole the show. She was kind of like the main star, unless instead of Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was, you can call it equal. It's a bit debatable. She kind of like there's one scene like Scott's suit was, like I said, it's messing, it's knackered. It keeps like changing sizes. They're in school trying to get like the original suit from Cassie, and also there was one funny scene like Cassie gave Scott a trophy and it says world's greatest grandma. I kind of laughed. And then also like Scott's like size, he turned to the same size as Cassie, like a child, and and also you got like Hank and Hope basically taking the piss out of Scott, trying to get, he's trying to get the trophy at Cassie's bag, and Hope says, "Come on, you can do it, you can do it," and then minutes later they're in the truck, Hope says, he's cranky, and Hope says, Scott, he's always a bit cranky, and Scott, and Hank offers like Scott, what was it? I think a juice carton and string cheese. I know what string cheese is. It's cheese strings. And then Scott says, do you have that? I kind of liked it. Some of the jokes is kind of hit and miss. Let me think. Yeah. I'm glad they used the Wasp in this movie. It's more like the Wasp movie instead of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought it's it's debatable if this is Paul Rudd and Avalanche Lily, have an equal they're basically co-stars. But yeah, in the first movie, I'm glad they ignored the Wasp in the first movie. It's more because the first movie they focus on how Scott became Ant-Man. Who spend time in jail, become spends time in jail, become a hero, and yeah, this movie, after the events of Civil War, because Scott kind of helped Cap in, because Cap was a fugitive after he refused to sign the Sokovian Accords. He got thrown to jail. Like I say, a guy didn't have the scene like Scott's in jail. He spent time with his daughter Cassie. And also he brings up the suit. He thought like Scott burned the suits, but he didn't burn the suit. He hid the suit. And also he kind of like burned the bridges between the relationship between Scott, Hope, and Hank in this movie. They're kind of like on the right page, and also I think he got them in trouble, like with they got arrested by the FBI because Louis got drugged by the truth serum, and also the FBI's in his case. And let's get back to Wu a little bit, and also another funny part. You got Scott, Hank, Hope got tied up, and then you got the video. You got basically, I think you got like Scott's ex-wife and Cassie basically FaceTime with Scott, and Scott's basically said, "I'm sick." And also they had the fucking ant. The ant. And also the ant's got fucking, I think Scott called one ant Antonio Banderas, and he got in by a seagull, and no one got actually fucking killed. Yeah, he got Ghost killed like an FBI agent because he got the lab in the boot of the car, but you got basically ants getting eaten by seagulls in the movie, and then you go like Scott says, "Oh, come on, You're trying to ride the flying ant, but getting eaten by seagulls. Anyway, so, and also, yeah, speaking of the ants, there was another post-credit scene in the movie. In the whole bulk of the movie, you had the ants acting like a human. There was one scene like, they're trying to get the FBI off Scott's case. You got like, see, you know, you got Louise going into Scott's house and saw the ant eating cereal, and then minutes later, Cassie would run upstairs and see, you know, the ant taking the bath, and then in the post-credit scene, you know, you got the ants playing. What's that game? It's similar to Guitar Hero, but I think it's called Rock Band, and he's playing the drums. I kind of laughed at. I kind of laughed. You know, it's just like I kind of laughed at that. You know, like I said, it's just funny moments of the movie, and it's a enjoyable movie to watch. You know, I give it like 3 stars. You know, it's a fun movie. Wasn't terrible, but at the same time, wasn't fantastic. Yeah, people find it a little disappointed of, you know, it's not going to be the follow-up to Infinity War, but I think it's a mid-card Marvel MCU movie to watch. So I think that's it. You know, let's talk about the third movie. You know, I think I covered most of the whole bulk. If I miss out a most important scene in the movie, I'm sorry. It's what it is. So you just write down in the comment section below. You know, I might talk about it if I, you know, do my rankings of the Phase 3 MCU movies to best to worst. You know, I haven't got long left. We've got about a few more weeks. Anyway, so yeah, you know, yeah, let's talk about a bit of the sequel. You know, the third movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's called Ant-Man and the Wasp called Quantinia. So it's basically in the quantum realm. And also, yeah, it's got basically portraying Janet, you know, in the lab. You know, it's kind of like weird. He's basically saying it in the third person. It's kind of like it's kind of weird, but kind of funny at the same time. So anyway, you know, yeah. The third movie's got to be all about Quantinia. That's the name of the title of the third movie of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It'll be released in 2023. That'll be 5 years after the second movie. You got like basically there's another actress replacing Cassie because I think the Cassie you see in the second movie also appeared in the first movie. She got replaced by an actress called Megan Fruman. That's her name. She appeared in Endgame as grown-up Cassie. She confirmed about her age in this movie. She was 10 years old. I'm guessing, you know, Scott was trapped in the quantum realm 5 years later, so I'm guessing she will probably be 15. I'm gonna be. I think in this movie, in the next movie, she'll probably be in her teenage years. She will play by Caitlin. What's it called? Caitlin something. I'm not gonna get into it. It'll drive me mad. I think it's called Mexon. Caitlin something. I can't remember. Jesus Christ. You know, I have it down. I had her name. Yeah, she's replacing the grown-up Cassie from Endgame. You know, sorry about the name. I'm just like, Jesus, I had it named somewhere. It's Caitlin. Is it Saxon? I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It drives me mad. Yeah, it's focused on the quantum realm, and I'm just convinced that I don't think Cross was dead. You know, Darren Cross was the villain of, you know, the first movie of Ant-Man, but you know, there's 100% that sorry folks, clicked stop by mistake. Anyway, like I said, I think that Cross, the villain from the first movie, Yellow Jacket, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still in the quantum realm. Like in the first movie, you know, he got, you not say exploded, but kind of evaporated. But I think he's still in the quantum realm. I don't think he might be part of the third movie. Corey Stoll, who plays Darren Cross in the first movie, I can see him returning for the third movie. Fingers crossed, you know. But I think he's still in the quantum realm somewhere. Let's get back to Wu. Jane's Wu. There's one funny scene between him and Scott. This was in the nearly the end of this movie because he kind of like removed the tag onto Scott's ankle, and he said about like we see you again, Scott, and Scott says where. And you know, he thought like Wu's taking out. I think he brings up dinner, but he said no. If you do something bad, I'll get you. And Scott says, oh, you're gonna take me out to dinner. It's just like, and also there's one scene in the beginning part of the movie, like Scott basically did magic trick. He did like the card trick, and Wu says, how you do it, the magic trick. And then I think it was like one scene he's learning the magic trick. It's kind of funny. Randall Park. He was good, not just in this movie, and also in WandaVision, and also he appeared in the he's appeared in the post-credit scene in Aquaman. I'm not familiar of his work, but I think he's, I might watch one day a future Randall Park movie or TV show. He's funny. Anyway, I think that's it. I think I covered most of the movie. It was a fun movie to watch, so hope you enjoyed my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, and more. And speaking of Marvel, we got the final 3 movies of Phase 3. The end of the Divinity Saga. So, the final 3 movies of Phase 3. That is Captain Marvel, Endgames, and Far From Home. And also, we got Loki this weekend. This week. It's on the 9th of June, I can't wait to watch Loki, man. I got really a good June. Looking forward, the Euros and, ending the MCU Movie Review Series for now. One day I might review movies of Phase 4 and also Loki. So, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Check you later. I'm out.